Welcome. In this video we will learn two things: what is on the ACT and how the scoring works. The ACT is a standardized test, which means all the questions are the same on the day of your test and will be scored in exactly the same way. It takes about 3.5 hours to complete, including breaks, but excluding the writing test. There are 4 sections on the ACT: English, Math, Reading, and Science. The English section of the test is 45 minutes long and has 75 questions. It will test you on punctuation, grammar, sentence structure, and style. We will tell you a little more about what types of questions you will find under each of these categories later when we discuss how to run a diagnostic. The Math section of the test is 60 minutes long and has 60 questions. It tests pre-algebra, algebra, geometry, and trigonometry. This last category, trig, is tiny. There will usually only be 3 to 6 trig questions on the Math section of the ACT. The Reading section is 35 minutes long and has 40 questions. It is divided into 4 passage types: fiction, social sciences, humanities, and science. There are 3 types of questions in this section. The first type will ask you about a specific line or paragraph in the text. The second type will ask you a specific question about the text. The third type will ask you about general elements of the text, like the main idea. The science section is 35 minutes long and has 40 questions. There are 3 types of questions. The first type is data representation, which includes things like reading graphs and tables. The second is research summaries, which will ask you about an experiment. And the final type asks you to compare 2 different points of view on the same scientific topic. One question that people often have about the ACT is, how does the scoring work? The final or scaled score on the ACT is out of 36. The score is computed on the basis of how many questions you get right on each section. The number of questions you get right is your raw score. Your raw score is then translated or scaled into a final score for that section. Let's see how this works. The ACT is what is called a norms referenced test. Because it is norms referenced, the number of questions that you must answer correctly to get a certain score varies from test to test. This is because there are different questions on different tests, and some may be a little bit easier and some may be a little bit harder. So for example, if your goal is to receive a 16 on each section of the test, then you would need to get about 36 to 38 questions correct on the English section, 17 to 20 questions correct on the Math section, 15 to 16 questions correct on the Reading section, and 13 questions correct on the Science section. This would then translate into a 16 out of 36 on each section of the ACT. Now remember, all of these numbers are only a rough guideline. The actual number of questions that you need to get right for a final score of 16 could be a little bit higher or even a little bit lower on the day of your particular test. Your overall or complete score is an average of your final score on each section. You add the 4 final scores together and divide by 4. If you would like to raise your overall score on each section by 2 points to an 18, you would need to get 41 to 42 questions correct on the English section, 24 to 26 questions correct on the Math section, 18 questions correct on the Reading section, and 16 questions correct on the Science section. Finally, if you would like to receive a 20 on each section of the ACT, you would need to get about 45 to 47 questions correct on the English section, 29 questions correct on the Math section, 21 on the Reading, and about 19 to 20 questions correct on the Science section. That's it for our discussion of the ACT test. If you would like to learn more about the types of questions you will encounter or how scoring works, there are many sources available on the web, including at ACT.org or most ACT test prep books. Next up, we'll talk about 2 important test-taking strategies. Thank you.